There's this guy named Harold. By the time our story begins, he's 39 years old, living in Colorado. But here's the kicker. This isn't the first time tragedy has struck his marriage. His second wife has just died, and the circumstances around it are, let's just say, very suspicious. Now, Harold wasn't exactly the type you'd call hard-working. In fact, he pretty much had zero interest in holding down a job. His lifestyle depended almost entirely on his wife, Lynn. But Harold, well, he wasn't wired like most people. Cold, manipulative, and calculating. That's how people would later describe him. In 1995, Harold decides he's done with Lynn. Instead of getting a divorce like a normal person, he hatches a darker plan. Quietly, he secures a life insurance policy on her worth $600,000, a huge payout if something were to happen to her. Not long after, the couple goes out for dinner. On the drive back, Harold pulls the car over, claiming a tire looks low. He gets out, sets up the jack, and starts working. Lynn helps by holding some of the lug nuts. At some point, Harold says one of the nuts slips away, rolling under the car. Lynn crouches down to retrieve it. Just then, Harold tosses a tire into the trunk, which causes the vehicle to shift and drop off the jack, landing right on top of Lynn. She doesn't survive. Harold tells police it was a tragic accident. Problem is, his story keeps changing. To one person, he says it happened one way. To another, he says something different. Despite the inconsistencies, investigators can't prove anything. They officially rule Lynn's death accidental. And just like that, Harold collects the insurance money and walks away free. 4 years pass. It's now 1999, and Harold decides he's ready to find love again. He joins a Christian dating site where he meets Tony, a successful ophthalmologist. She's 44, smart, and well-liked by everyone who knows her. Harold puts on his best mask. He tells her he's a wealthy businessman who raises funds for charities and works remotely. She buys into the act, and before long, the two are married. But behind closed doors, Harold is anything but a dream husband. He's controlling, manipulative, and obsessed with monitoring her every move. If Tony takes a phone call, he insists it's on speaker so he can listen. He handles all the finances, so she has no idea that he doesn't actually work or bring in money. By 2012, Harold decides he's had enough of Tony too. Even though he lives comfortably off her, it isn't enough. He wants a bigger payday. So once again, he quietly takes out a massive life insurance policy on his wife, this time worth $4.7 million. And then he begins researching. His plan? To use the Rocky Mountain National Park as the stage for his crime. He visits the park multiple times, 9 separate trips, looking for the perfect cliff where an accident could easily happen. He even marks the exact spot on a map. Once he's ready, he surprises Tony with the idea of an anniversary hike. She's thrilled, probably thinking Harold has finally planned something romantic. The couple sets out for their trip, snapping photos and enjoying the scenery. Eventually, Harold leads her off the main trail to the location he had scouted out. At the cliff's edge, when she isn't paying attention, he shoves her. She falls roughly 100 feet and dies instantly. When authorities question him, Harold claims it was a tragic accident. First, he says she slipped while walking behind him. Later, he tells someone else she fell while taking his picture. Just like before, his version of events keeps shifting. And when he quickly has her cremated, ignoring her family's wishes, it raises even more red flags. But Harold isn't in the clear this time. Police receive anonymous letters and calls, 17 in total, urging them to dig deeper into Tony's death and her husband's involvement. With renewed suspicion, investigators search Harold's car. There, they uncover his map with an X, marking the very cliff where Tony died. They also take another hard look at Lynn's death from years earlier. 2 wives gone, both under questionable circumstances, and in both cases, Harold had secured massive life insurance policies beforehand. That's all investigators need. Harold is arrested, charged, and ultimately convicted of murdering Tony. The life insurance scam backfired, and instead of millions, Harold receives a life sentence in prison.